Hello and welcome to my realistic career mode series, everyone. So, I will be playing with Alberto Garcia, a player that I created who will play for Arsenal. And the story is that he was bought instead of Mikel Arteta, and now he's the one who will be playing his last season in FIFA 16. And then, as we move forward, he will become a manager in FIFA 17, 18, 19, and so on. And let's track his story and what he goes through, like a very real manager with real talents coming in, real upgrade in the tactics and the systems, and what all we go through as a manager as we start from nobody to then somebody. So welcome to season 1, where Alberto Garcia is playing for Arsenal. He basically joined in 2011 like Mikel Arteta, but in this timeline he joined instead of Mikel Arteta. He has given his all to this club, but it is time to hang up his boots. But there is still a question whether he can do it all over again, and there is a doubt before retiring, because this is what he loves to do. This is what he has given his life for. So it's obviously a very difficult decision. So what he decides in the end, by talking with his family and his colleagues, is, you know what, let's hang on till the end of the season. Let's see what happens. If I am able to give something to this club, I will maybe stay or maybe leave, but that decision has to be made at the end of the season. Till then, he will give his all, perhaps for one last time. Okay, so I think this is the first friendly that I was a part of. The first friendly for Arsenal was Rayo Vallecano. And it was a tough game. I think Tigres actually played really, really well. And look at that, the way they are attacking. This is already the second half, so the first half was actually very boring. And I was really trying to work out what exactly I need to do. And here I have just given a penalty. This was the really start that I didn't want, but I was just, oh, look at that, this is such a bad tackle. And I think they did score with the penalty, yeah, 1-0, and 50 minutes with a dull match, not getting enough chances. We were already 1-0 down. But yeah, I was actually figuring out exactly what my role is. I lost the ball so many times. I couldn't pass the ball in a way that was really attacking. But here's, I think, yeah, this is a good one. I think this is a Welbeck goal or Santi Cazorla goal. Ooh, bounced off the post, and Jack Wilshere. This was, I think this did give me some kind of confidence that Arsenal can do something about it. And this was, I think, 64th minute, so it was a chance to get a victory. But I don't think that we got a victory out of this. But yeah, with Jack Wilshere with a goal, and it was very clear that my role now should be just to pass the ball in front. I was just focusing on that. This game really was horrible, and the gaffer Arsene Wenger removed me as well. Coming to the next game against PSV Eindhoven, we've already won one game and drawn the next, so we have 4 points at this moment, at this time. And this game is just, I think, where we should draw the game and we can go into the semi-finals. I was picked again, and this time I was like, okay, I need to make some kind of an impact, otherwise it's just not going to happen. I'm not going to get a chance to play in the real competitions like Premier League, Champions Cup. But here's the second friendly, and I think this was a good start by Arsenal. I think the team had it. In this season, we had Ozil, Cazorla, and it looked like a good team. Aaron Ramsey was actually in a very, very good form, and Jack Wilshere, if you look at the FIFAs of the past, he was always very young and around. Oh, what a goal! 83 rated, that I was going to say for Jack Wilshere, but this is Santi Cazorla. This is all he is. Look at the pass. So this was my pass, I think. Yeah, and then Danny Welbeck with a good control, and look at that finish. Santi Cazorla was a huge star for Arsenal. I remember him, and playing with him was also really, really amazing thing, because if you pass to him, it was almost like he will do something, and he was in that bracket. I think he was 85, 86 rated in the last 3 years of his Arsenal career, except I think maybe the last season, where he would have had a very reduced overall. But look at that. This was a very boring game again, and we had just change of possession through the entire game, not much. And this is yeah, PSV Eindhoven equalizing, heartbreak for Arsenal. Not a second win in the friendly. Matt Macy actually was the goalkeeper, and Aaron Ramsey missed that attacker. It is PSV Eindhoven again. What would they do? Ooh, that was a good save by Matt Macy. Kevin Proper, you remember him? I think this is a good test for all you football fans to remember, if you remember old players, or test if you remember all the old players. But yeah, 1-1, and I thought we were out of the tournament because we couldn't win, but had completely forgotten that there was one friendly which was against Rayo Vallecano, which we won, which I wasn't a part of, which is like a very frustrating part, because you never know what's the full score unless you go on the calendar and then look at the score if you have been substituted. But here's the big one. This was a semi-final of the Friendly Cup, and this was a chance for me, the Alberto Garcia character, Alberto Garcia, to show that he can perform in the big games, and he was going to come against the likes of Sergio Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, and this was going to be a battle for the midfield. And I think at that moment I really took that opportunity. I felt that this is the moment that I have to be ready for the main tournaments. Look at my movement. It's always being available, and I was really looking at, you know what, in FIFA 16 there's no kind of position of a box to box midfielder or a deep playmaker, so I had to create that, so I could be a deep playmaker, which Rodri did for Manchester City, or Zubimendi doing it for Arsenal, or obviously Sergio Busquets for Barcelona did it for so many years. And that's someone, that's a character that everyone searched for in that era as well. Look at that. Look at me going for a long ball. That's overconfidence for you. But yeah, everyone needed that, and that's what I thought I can be this season for Arsenal. And maybe I can take Arsenal from deep press to forward. Look at that. I'm now taking these runs. I'm trying to give the ball in dangerous situations, trying to have the ball again. This is what I wanted, and I felt that if Sergio Busquets is so important and he's doing it, I think I should do it. And look at that pass as well. That vision. Yeah, I had it. I think, yeah. Third game of the season, and I am already looking as a deep playmaker. But obviously it did work. Obviously it has to produce results more than the aesthetics. Barcelona now attacking, giving the ball away. And look at me asking for the ball again, giving it away again. But if I had to be that deep lying playmaker, I had to be ready. Alberto Garcia had to be ready for making mistakes as well, because the stats that I gave him were very similar to Mikel Arteta. So he is actually a center defensive midfielder who can pass, has the vision to pass, and can shoot, but doesn't have like pace or aggression or interceptions that much. And he's 34 years of age. So yeah. Anyways, the match was again, I think, and I think the first half it was very strange, because whenever I played this game, it was always ending up with 1-0 or 2-1s, not even 2-1s, 1-0, 1-1s. So I thought that maybe I need to change some settings. But it could also be because Arsenal were a bit more competitive, because they had higher ratings than what the actual players in real life played like. But anyways, this was the first half, semi-final 0-0, and I think Alberto Garcia played decently. I don't think that he was really bad in this. Jack Wilshere was replaced by Santi Cazorla, and I think The second half was when Barcelona really made a difference. We didn't have the ball. Arsenal didn't have the ball at all. And I also tried to take the ball, but just couldn't. And Alberto Garcia, these arrows were so annoying, yellow arrows telling me where I should be, but I knew that being there was actually useless. But also, I need to agree that this attack which is building up was completely my fault, not being in the right position, and Barcelona scored 47th minute, 48th minute, scored 1-0, and that was it. I think a small mistake against a side like Barcelona, and I do take it upon Alberto Garcia because he was not in the right position at all. Matt Macy, I think David Ospina. Matt Macy couldn't save it. Sandro scored, and that was it. That was it. This is me being substituted. And then I found out, which was such a silly thing, that Arsenal actually lost 4-0 to Barcelona. How can Barcelona score 3 goals in just like 5 minutes that were remaining? Anyways, Arsenal did lose. Here's the summary of the first friendly tournament. Rayo Vallecano won 2-0, draws against Tigres and PSV Eindhoven, and a loss against Barcelona. I will be back next episode where we cover Premier League and other things and continue the journey of Alberto Garcia.